Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are cracking the code on what is, let's be honest, one of the trickiest parts of the IELTS exam, the Writing Task 2 essay. If you've ever just stared at a prompt, wondering what on earth an examiner actually wants to see, you're in the right place. We're about to lay it all out.
So that's the million-dollar question, right? It can feel like you're trying to learn some secret language that only the examiners speak. But here's the good news. It's not a secret at all. And by the end of this explainer, I promise you are going to be fluent.
So, to figure this all out, we're not going to just talk about theories. No way. We are going to get our hands dirty and break down a real-world IELTS prompt, along with a high-scoring essay, to see exactly what makes it work so well.
Okay, so here it is, our challenge. The number of people online has exploded, hitting almost 2/3 of the entire world. And the question is just, is this good or bad? This is exactly the kind of thing you'll be up against. And believe me, how you tackle this question is everything.
And here is the big secret, you guys. A top-scoring essay is not about some stroke of genius or magic. Not at all. It's constructed from a recipe. A recipe that has 4 key ingredients which, and this is the best part, are just the official IELTS marking criteria. If you can master these 4 things, you've mastered the essay.
Our very first ingredient is all about the structure. You can think of it like a blueprint for a house. Right before you start picking out paint colors and furniture, you need a solid foundation and walls that make sense. In an essay, that's coherence and cohesion.
And here it is, the perfect blueprint. The high-scoring essay we looked at uses this exact 4-paragraph structure. You've got an introduction to set the stage, 2 body paragraphs where each one focuses on one single main idea, and then a conclusion to tie it all up. It's just so clean, so logical, and it makes it incredibly easy for an examiner to follow your train of thought. So if that 4-paragraph structure is your skeleton, then cohesion, well, that's the stuff that connects it all together. It's what gives your writing flow. Check out how the slide mentions using reference words. Instead of saying, the internet has benefits, the internet's benefits are, a great essay links ideas smoothly, maybe by saying something like, these advantages. It seems like a small thing, but trust me, it's what stops your writing from sounding clunky and makes it sound really sophisticated.
All right, let's move on to our second ingredient. This is the real heart of your essay, the argument. In IELTS terms, this is called task response. And really, it all boils down to one simple question. Did you actually answer the question they asked?
Now listen, this is probably the most important part of this whole ingredient. You cannot sit on the fence. The prompt asks if this is a positive or negative thing. A top essay picks a side, and it picks it clearly. Then it uses the entire rest of the essay to prove why. You state your position right up front in the introduction and you defend it to the very end.
And check out how our sample essay does this. The writer argues that the internet is a positive force, and then supports this with 2 really clear, well-developed points. First, how it helps families stay connected, and second, how it can be a tool for social change. Each of these ideas gets its very own paragraph packed with examples, which makes the whole argument feel super strong and convincing.
Okay, so we've got our blueprint, we've got our argument, now it's time to add the flavor. And that brings us to our third ingredient. Your choice of words, or what the examiners call lexical resource.
If you remember just one thing about vocabulary today, let it be this: paraphrase, don't repeat. Seriously, top-scoring writers don't just copy words from the prompt, like internet users or Risen. They find other ways to say it. They rephrase the ideas. This is the single fastest way to show the examiner that you've got a really rich and flexible vocabulary.
And it's not just about swapping out words. It's about using language that has a bit of style. Look at this phrase right here from the sample essay. A treasure trove of. How great is that? It sounds so natural, so much more impressive than just saying it has a lot of information. This is exactly the kind of specific, high-level vocabulary that makes an essay really pop.
And that brings us to our final ingredient. This is the one that gives your essay that professional, finished feeling. It's the polish. Grammatical range and accuracy. This is all about showing that you have real control over the mechanics of English.
A great essay isn't just a string of simple sentences. It shows off a whole toolbox of grammatical structures. Let's just look under the hood of one sentence from our sample. You can see how the writer is using all these different parts,
the perfect verb tense, a clause that adds extra detail, a fancy adverbial phrase, and crucially, they're using commas to put it all together correctly. This is what control looks like, and it screams mastery to an examiner. So there you have it. All 4 ingredients are on the table. Let's put them all together now into one simple winning recipe that you can take with you and start using right away.
So let's wrap this up. Your winning recipe is this. First, you start with a solid blueprint, that clear 4-paragraph structure. Second, you build a strong argument by answering the question directly and taking a side. Third, you elevate it with impressive language. That means great paraphrasing and vocabulary. And finally, you add the polish with accurate and complex grammar.
And that's it. That is the complete recipe for an IELTS essay that examiners absolutely love. Now, as you go back to your own practice, I want you to think about this. Which of these 4 ingredients, if you really focused on it, would make the biggest difference in your writing? Is it the blueprint, the argument, the language, or the polish? Figuring that out is the key to unlocking your best possible score.